We're Still Listening Magazine. I'm Rachel.
I'm Lily.
I'm Phoebe.
And they are
Lambrini Girls!
So we're at Ali Pally and you're about to open for Idols tonight. How are you feeling?
Need a poo.
I'm sick. No, it's great though. We're super excited. We had a really great time the last couple of shows. So, yeah.
How many more have you got to go after this?
Go to New York tomorrow, and then we're doing some shows in New York. But not with Idols. There are shows.
Well, loads to be excited for. Obviously, your new album, Who Let the Dogs Out, coming out in January. How are you feeling about that?
Excited. I think nervous, because everyone's always like, oh, your debut album, that's a hallmark of your career. Once that's out, there's no going back. Which is really scary. So, apart from the crushing pressure, very excited and happy to have a full body of work out.
Yeah, I think I was more nervous about writing and recording it than I am about releasing it, to be honest. So for me, the scary part's over.
Yeah, because that was like intense, right? 2 weeks on a farm or something is what I heard.
Yeah, like
in
two like installments, yes, because the first week we didn't get much done and it wasn't that great, was it?
Yeah, we did sweet fuck all the first week. So the second week we just got blasted, drank as much as we could and wrote as much as we did.
We just denounced all rules of society and went a bit crazy for a week.
Every song sounds like the first time you fell off your bike as a child.
Intentionally?
Yes.
Do you reckon you could make like a punk record over a longer period of time? Like you could spend so much longer on it, but isn't the beauty of it that it's raw?
It just does. We tried.
Yeah, we can't
fucking do it. We did the same with our EP. We were like, shit. Can I swear?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
We're in the studio in a couple of weeks, and we need 2 more songs. And then we're like, right, for our album, like we're gonna start writing really early, and like we'll be, well prepared, etc. But we just
no, wrong.
We just didn't really. To be fair to us, we didn't really have the time. Like constantly out on the road, we'll have like 3 or 4 days at home max, and then so even for those 2 weeks we had to really be like, we're blocking that out. Like we're not taking anything on because we need to write this album, and we had to like turn down gigs and stuff in those times as well. So I don't know, I think it kind of works for us.
Live, laugh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like it's a great album. Bon appetit. I've got no regrets.
We finished it like a week before we went into the studio, and we were a song short going into the studio.
How did you make a song up in the studio?
Yeah, in the studio.
Which one was that? Can I ask?
Cuntology 101.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all about like loving yourself, like this whole like this society loving the fact that we call everything cunty. That's so cunty, and like turning it back into like what, self-love.
Self-love, being a messy bitch, pooing at your friend's house, shagging behind some bins, having autistic meltdowns. All of those things are cunty if you would like them to be.
So how do you take that sort of like raw live energy, obviously if you're like turning down shows and shit, and then to make the album so quickly, how did you make those two things marry up? Because if you're known for being a live band, obviously there's a lot of pressure to put that in the album as well.
Yeah,
I think it was quite natural.
Okay.
Because we spend most of our time playing live and playing gigs, so the way that we write is very much how we would play it. So like people like have been asking us if like there was anything that we did in the studio that we can't recreate live, and aside from like Contology, because we use some mega expensive synths that we don't have, we wrote everything so that we can play it live, like completely true to record. Okay, so and that is just because we're like mainly a live band, and that's what we do most. And I guess that's just how we kind of write naturally as well. I mean, it's just kind of what happened.
Crazy bitches with nothing to lose.
Well, I guess a lot of the stuff as well that you write about is like systemic issues that you tackle, but you do it in such a humorous way, but also like raising awareness to the importance of the issues. How do you like balance that whole like this shit is funny, like I want to shag behind bin, but also the first song's about police brutality? I guess
I want to shag behind a bin, but the police are really bad. So I
Those are
can't.
lyrics.
I don't know. I think like, it's like, funny, not funny. Like I think number one, we're just fucking hilarious. And that comes out, if you're writing a song, if you're having a little dance, whatever you're doing, you got a sense of humor that comes out in different ways. But also, if you want to be, a politically active band, and you've got, you know, very strong messages, and you're raising visibility for a myriad of issues, and you want people to listen. You can preach to the converted, or you can try and win over some people that may disagree with you. And the best way to do that is to make your music as engaging as possible. And, you know, having really catchy riffs, funny lyrics is, you know, it makes it, number one, you know, easier to listen to. And also humor's very disarming. So, you know, if you're screaming in someone's face for like 10 minutes going, listen to me, the chances are they're going to be like, oh, I don't really want to. But if you tell a couple of jokes and you're like, oh, we're buddies, and then you're like, the world's on fire, then, you know, people are going to be like, oh shit, okay. So that's why, yeah.
So it's like,
it's intentional.
Yeah, it's intentional. Okay. Yeah. Have you had evidence of the converted from your music?
I think people sometimes, it depends on your approach. Like, you know, you get people after shows being like, oh, I really wasn't aware of that, or I'm going to go and check, you know, my own, you know, biases and privilege. And there's multiple ways you can do it. I think it's really important to go and like enforce safe spaces at shows to any of the people who might be in the crowd who are affected by these issues, and making sure they feel safe there. Also, it's equally as important to get in front of people who don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And to ruffle some feathers. And, you know, you could go play in front of 1,000 people and everyone might fucking hate it. There might be one person who might then question their privilege or their bias afterwards. Yeah. And that's important. That's how you mobilize people and change minds.
And that's what you do it for?
Yeah.
Does it not, like, get to you personally if, like, 1,000 people are like, boo?
We haven't had 1,000 people all boo, but probably one time, actually, my friend did a DJ set at Green Door Store in Brighton, and it was the first time I ever got booed because I like crashed a DJ set and I put her microphone in my mouth and started screaming.
That had nothing to do with politics or love.
No.
You were just being a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I was just being a nightmare, and everyone booed me and they were like, get the fuck off stage, you're shit. And I was like, wow, that was really grounding. But you know, like, people sometimes boo you and you've just got to suck it up.
We've not had like a mass amount of people, like not at live shows. We've had in America when someone like got really angry because Phoebe got everyone to shout fuck the Constitution.
Yeah. Fuck the Constitution.
We were in LA and we were going like, I say fuck, you say the Constitution. Like half the crowd were like, fuck the Constitution. So this was quite a surprise to some of them, and we were going to say fuck the Constitution, fuck the Constitution. And we're in LA and I like look on the floor and there's like, I've got everyone knelt down and there's like this lady just like there, just head in her hands going, no! Like that, and I was just like looking at her like, fuck me, and she looked at me and she was like, stop, and I was like, no, bitch. But yeah, it was crazy.
Maybe she should channel that into some punk rock music herself.
She'll channel it into her love of the United States of America and Uncle Sam himself.
Do you think that the music scene is doing enough generally to overcome like the classism in the scene? Like, obviously not on a world stage, but in the UK especially, we've got like Kate Nash being a little badass bitch going,
yeah,
fuck
absolutely,
like,
pop off bitch,
pop
big
off
up.
Kate Nash.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, basically?
Well, the song Filthy Rich Nepo Baby, because we get asked this a lot, like people being like, oh, do you know any like Nepo babies? Like, give us some names, give us some bands. No, but like, we're not going to do that. But the song and the imaginary examples of these Nepo babies, it's very much just an exaggerated, you know, idea of, you know, to sort of display the disparity within the music industry. And the problem is the music industry. It's not people. It's the music industry itself, and it's who basically runs the music industry. Because the reason, you know, that there is like such a divide in class is because there's like barely any grassroots funding for grassroots bands. Like, the government aren't doing anything with expenditure to actually support anyone who doesn't have a pot of money. So that means, you know, you have to have money behind you in order to get anywhere. And it means your success is bought. If you see Lambrini Girls on a billboard, it's been bought by our label. Us, as ourselves, we're now signed to a major indie label. We are Nepo babies now because they pay for this. You know, we wouldn't be doing this interview with you if it wasn't. So it's like the only way you can get anywhere is if you have money behind you. And, you know, there's probably playing tonight in London 30, 40 bands who are just as good, if not better than us. And they will be totally slept on because they don't have financial backing. Okay. So either, you know, if you've got someone to pay your rent, you've got a label behind you, you will do better. And that's why, because there's no funding for anyone else.
Yeah, I would say there's probably like for me personally, there's two things that I take from that song. which is, number one, musicians need to be compensated fairly, because otherwise people who are working minimum wage jobs can't afford to play a gig because they have to forfeit a day's wages to get paid 50 quid, which goes on, expenses regardless. And two, these privileges need to be acknowledged and talked about, so as not to create this false illusion, and that, that can be really crushing, I think. So yeah, I think it's important to open a discourse also around privilege, and if you've got it, that's fine, because you can't really help it a lot of the time, but then it's important to have to be transparent about it. I think it's in major corporations where it's taboo to speak about your salary, that's also that corporations can get away with paying people less, so that's fucking bullshit too. So yeah, that's what I'd take from Phoebe's lyrics. Anyway.
You need to apply the same practice. If you've got privilege, be transparent about it. We have a label pummeling money into us.
I mean, the difference is that you use your platform to raise awareness for all of these important issues.
Number one, we're a political band, so you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is.
Right. We both come from very different backgrounds, but we've got very, very similar values and morals. So, yeah, and if bands want to use their platform for that, then that's great. But at the same time, people can use their music in any way that they would like. So yeah, I mean, I think if you have a platform and you want to use it, then that's amazing. And, that's great. But, and we love doing that. And that's why we play the songs that we do. And that's why we say the things that we say. But yeah, it's up to everyone else.
It's up to everyone how they use their platform. I think as individuals, considering the state of the world right now, I think it's very important that people are politically engaged. When it comes to art, you don't have to express it through that. If you'd like to, it's a great medium. I think as individuals, you can go to protest, join a fucking union, write to your MP, write to your representative, share resources and open discourse about it. I think as humans, it's really important that we do that now more than anything, because there's genocide happening in Palestine, Sudan, the Congo. You look at Lebanon,
Turkey as well.
Yeah,
everywhere you go.
For sure.
So,
as in the Turks are committing genocide against Kurdish people,
not the other way around.
Not the other way around. Yeah,
got you. I guess that my last question then is about making art generally. So it's sort of an accepted truth that we live in a really stagnant cultural moment. There's fucking franchise after franchise in cinema all the time. NYT, I think, just part of this thing where it's how can we even be innovative anymore in terms of art making? Because everything just seems trends go in cycles, everything repeats itself. Do you think that's the same in music, and do you have that experience too with making music?
I think so. I don't think there's anything which is totally original anymore. Everyone has their influences, and if you're gonna pretend that you don't, then you're a fucking liar and a coward. What was it? Picasso said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. Not saying we're stealing, but yeah, I've got influences. I don't think there can be anything totally original anymore.
I guess that also should be celebrated as well, right? Your influences are what make you play in a particular way, or what make your
totally. And it's about how you combine those influences. That's what makes things original. Because it's if you try and think of a color that you've never seen before, you can't. You've got to make it. You've got to make it a combination of colors that otherwise.
Yeah, that's a really nice way of putting it.
Yeah,
it's a really good analogy.
She's cooking.
Philosophy A level, mate.
Get out the spatula.
Why?
Because you're cooking.
She's not cooking, she's just cooked.
Yeah.
She's just cooked. We're all just cooked. Well, thanks, Lambrini Girls.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we've been still listening. Buy the print mag, which this interview will be in.
Sick.